Just a little warning, this show will make you hungry and thirsty. Hello friends, welcome to a special segment, a new segment on Hashtag Beer Time called Friday Beer Food. No surprises as to what it's all about. We just thought, heck, it's the weekend, why not get your taste buds going with some beer and some food? Up first, we have Greg from Beer Country, and he takes us through some mouth-watering toasted cheese sandwiches. Not just any toasted cheese, but in South Africa, as we like to call them, toebroodjies. Toasted sandwiches that are done on the fire, on the barbecue, on the braai. Ooh, we pair them with some delicious beers. We're going to get straight into it. Enjoy! Hello, Greg.
Hello, Mr. Troy.
Well, I'm glad you're here. This is a test episode, and I said to you before we recorded that I'm happy to call this a test episode. But hear me out. I'm going to call this Friday Beer Food. I don't know.
I like it, and I'm happy to be the guinea pig.
Am I on something here?
Yeah, I think you are.
Okay, well, I think we need to get people's taste buds going, double style, with some beer, with some food.
Ready for the weekend.
The whole theory behind this is that let's see what food goes well with the different beers out there. So there is maybe a little bit of a theme. I know that you guys have a busy weekend coming up. And
yes,
you get straight into it. There's no format. I haven't written anything.
There is no small yes to that. It's a very big hell yes. This weekend is a double whammy because not only is it my birthday on Sunday, it is Ager's birthday. Ager Project Brewing Company. Rory and Carrie, they're over in Noordhoek. And now the new tap room that they've got at Constantia Eitzig. But this weekend from 12 to 7 at the tap room in Noordhoek, Ager's birthday with a carnival theme.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw some stuff happening on social media.
Whole thing. They're going to have magicians. They're going to have things for the kids to do. We are obviously cooking there. We are going to be catering the event. At least on the one side.
I've never been on a social occasion. Can you believe it? I've only been for business.
Bro, that's you work in beer, bro. It's occupational hazard.
But I've invited the partner, and I've kind of angled that she might have to drive.
Yes, it is going to be a fantastic day. It is going to be one of those days. Knowing Rory, he has got more than a few surprises up his sleeve.
Can we talk about?
I think we can.
Any secret batches?
We can broad stroke it. I think without letting the kittens and the cats out the bags. He will have a couple of special beers there. He's played his cards. Funny, it's a magician that's there. Played his cards very close to his chest. And is not telling anyone what he's releasing, but I think it's going to be 3 new beers. And there are also, all of his other beers that are available at the tap room, things like the Helles, the Dry Hop Lager, the Bruno, New England Pale Ale, not IPA.
And he's got the light pale ale. I haven't had that before.
Unbelievable. Just delicious beers made only the way that Rory can make them, which is properly great ingredients. Great beer.
So that's the Saturday. If you guys are in Cape Town, go check it out. I'll definitely be there. I will definitely be there. Let's get on with the show. Let's crack open a beer and let's see how.
Are we starting with a palate cleanser beer, or are we going straight into it?
So this is what I was thinking. Now you're welcome to kind of guide me here, because I'm not. I like to think I know a bit about beer. I'm not too clued up when it comes to food.
So don't lie, Troy.
No, I eat the food.
I've seen you bribe, bro. I know your story.
Well,
it's all fibs. Anyone that's listening, it's all fibs.
No, I leave it to the professionals. But what I was thinking about doing, I've been very interested lately with how beer can react in certain ways to different types of food and vice versa. I did an experiment a long time ago, I think, with the Devil's Peak Blockhouse and Devil's Peak Burger, and how it totally changed the burger, totally changed the beer when you put the two in your mouth. Not at the same time, obviously. That's just weird. But so what I wanted to do is get a hoppy beer, a malty beer, and then a dark beer, and then see how it changes when we have Our first guess, it's toasted cheese.
Toasted cheese. Well,
is it any toasted cheese?
Well, and it's never just any toasted cheese. But you don't speak about the humble Breibrücke like that. Any toasted cheese. No, I mean when you get food and beer pairing right, you get the contrast and complementary, and you really do like it's 1 + 1 makes 3 all day long if you get it right. If you get it wrong, it's a learning curve, but which we are on. Luckily, we've been on it for a while, so we've learned a thing or two about a thing or two. And yeah, so this weekend,
talk to us about the sandwiches that are in front of us.
Yeah.
Is it something we can expect?
Yes, absolutely. We're doing 3 Breibrückes this weekend. So yeah, the first one is going to be kind of like a funky one with goat's cheese. It's our take on the classic, which is cheese, tomato, and onion.
Okay.
But we're doing tomato with fresh red onion, goat's cheese and mozzarella with a preserved fig chutney on a toasted sourdough. So yeah, that's the first one. I'll tell you about the next one and the last one when we get into the next beer. But for now, that's what we've got here.
Okay, so let's crack open
the.
I think rather than do it, it's quite interesting. Rather than do it with the beers, we might have to do it with the food. Let me just crack open. The first one we're going to crack open is the red rye from Ager Project. I'm trying to see. It's not a high bitterness, but it does have 38 IBUs. It's got your flavors of caramel, fruity, marzipan, aromas of spicy toffee. So this is a twisted version of a classic rye beer, brewed with a complex mix of grains and perfectly balanced.
Sounds great.
Let's see what happens. This is either going to complement or contradict the flavors that we pick up.
I mean, with most pairings, the first rule, and I'm going to quote the other half of Beer Country, one Mr. Carl Tessendorf. The first rule of beer pairing is forget all that you've ever read about beer pairing. Because if you like it, and someone else doesn't, as long as you like it and it tastes good to you, then, that's good enough for everyone else. There's no rules. It's not like the craft beer pairing police are going to come and take you away. But yeah, this beer sounds on the money. You read the back label. It says 38 IBUs. You've got a nice whack of bitterness there, to cut through kind of the malty sweetness of the beer as well. A little bit of spicy, earthy aromas there from the rye.
How do you think I should do it? Should I have a sip first and then the food?
I think it's up to you. I think you should just go. I think let's give the beer the respect it deserves. We've done it in.
Cheers.
And I'm just going to shamelessly pun something here. We've recently got hold of some Rustal beer glasses all the way from Germany. Great beer deserves a great beer glass. And this is what this is. So go.
Already, I'm getting a bit of almost like a savory, marmitey kind of meaty forward. Maybe just because I'm looking at the food.
It just sounds like a braai. It already sounds like a braai. So this is a great complementary pairing. You're going to pick up some of those.
It's so easy, eh?
Roasty. You're going to pick up some of those roasty, toasty notes on the outside of the bread. A little bit of charred crust and everything like that. That'll go really well with the malty sweetness. And now that we've had a sip of the beer, grab a brookie.
Okay, so this one is the toasted cheese sandwich.
This one is. I was told by Carl not to eat on air because it sounds dodgy.
Screw you, Carl.
It sounds like it's just the noises you make when you eat. It's a thing. It's like it's Breibrücke sex, apparently, which is the best kind. At least that's what Carl says. Sorry, Carl.
So there's got a little bit. I can taste that jam, that sweetness.
That'll be that preserved fig chutney on there.
Yes, that's it.
And that sweetness will really contrast the bitterness in the beer. Well, you'll want those two to balance it out.
I'm going for sip.
It's all about balance. It's all about flavors that work or that add up together. Like IPA and blue cheese is one of my favorite combos because they work so well together. That's the 1 + 1 makes 3 thing.
So I will say, when I have a sip of this beer, the bitterness is a little bit amplified. I'm getting a bit more spicy notes.
Sure.
So I'm thinking that jam is coming together with the malt, but just in a way, just amplifying the bitterness.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's delicious, and what you're going to get as well is between the sweetness from the jam and the fattiness from the cheese. you're going to need a big enough beer with solid carbonation to help scrub the inside of your cheeks and, wash everything down for that second sip and the next bite and the next sip and the next bite. Rinse and repeat until you're done.
Sure. Okay. Well, that was a great.
I'm gonna go in for a second bite.
That was a great introduction for Friday beer food. I mean, if that's the start of our first meal, I'm pretty stoked with that.
Well, I've got to tell you, for me, my death row meal has changed a lot of times over the years, but at the moment...
You haven't done anything, have you?
No.
You're not going to prison or anything?
No, nothing, not yet. Well, not that I know about anyway. It's probably a couple of reasons, but we'll keep that off the air. It's literally, at the moment, my death row meal is a nice big pile of braai broekies. Yeah. It is the humble braai broekie. It is delicious. It is everything that you want. And probably a couple of cases, about 20 mixed cases from Liga beers on the side.
Oh, look at that. But what's...
You can pay me later, Rob.
Yes, exactly. What's... is there you guys are into your bread. I know Carl's into his bread. Is there a specific bread, also sourdough? Is that maybe your favorite?
Well, I mean, it's
sesame bread.
Well, what's great about it is you compare the bread, and this is what we're also doing this weekend. You compare the bread with the ingredients. So we're going to have something sharp like fresh red onion, funky and farmyard like goat's cheese, and that will go really well with a sourdough, toasted sourdough. Where when we do the other braai broekies, which will bring us around to this next one, is a rare steak, blue cheese mozzarella, rocket hemp seed pesto. How's that for a mouthful?
Say that again.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the bread yet. So rare
pesto. All I heard is pesto.
Yeah, rare steak. So reverse seared rump, which will be delicious. Reverse seared so that it's even cooked throughout.
Sure.
Great way to cook steak. Just finish it off on the fire. Blue cheese and mozzarella. So mozzarella for the melt and the pull, and then blue cheese for the funk.
Sure.
And a rocket and hemp seed pesto, which we got from a great friend of ours, Jules Harris. Thanks, babe. It is rock and roll pesto, and that's what she does. It's great products from a great lady. She sorted us out.
You're not going to get high.
No, it's hemp seeds, not...
not at least from the sandwiches.
Like if we've done our job right with the sandwiches, they should give you a bit of a kick, but nothing like that. That'll be...
Should we have a sandwich now with this beer, or how should we do it?
No, I mean, I think we'll probably need to get into the dark beer maybe for this one. Well, you know what, there's no rules here. We can just finish it off. Have the dark beer. Let's have a bite of this one with this beer.
Okay, yes, because we've got this beer. It's about to run out. So let's do that. I'm going to take a little bite.
Yeah, it's, and I say the humble braai broekie. It's such an easy thing to get right, but I've learned the hard way. It is such an easy thing to get wrong as well. There's nothing quite as humbling as a burnt braai broekie.
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
To the best of us, especially after a few beers. You take your eye off the bread for 30 seconds, and it goes from toasted golden to black and burnt. But
I will just to interject here. I will say that this sandwich with you got a serious amount of ham here, got some serious cheese, but that pesto it's almost done an extra step compared to that other sandwich where it's
I think now
it's leveled out everything. There's no that bitterness is not coming through really, but it's now kind of just.
I think
it's now you're picking up the beer.
Well, what you'll get, I think now is where the last sandwich was more playing with the malts, the caramel and everything like that, caramel and toffee, spicy toffee. This one now, because of the pesto, that little herbaceous kick, you're going to really start seeing the rye in the beer and that spicy, earthy flavor start coming to the fore, which will be cool. But listen, but before we go on, I am going to do it. I'm going to quote someone about the burnt braai broekie. It's Nelson Mandela.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he says, you know what, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And braai, hey, how's that?
Yes,
great.
Yes.
And braaiing's the same thing.
You have to check if it was Nelson Mandela.
I know, I did have to check. But
that's only because I thought it was someone else. Okay, cool. So you've definitely learned, and you've got to a stage now where I'd imagine you've made a few toasted sandwiches in your life.
We have.
Let's get on with the second beer from. It's a guest, a guest appearance from Metal Lane. It's their crafted
Murray.
pale ale. So I thought, if there's going to, I mean, this is really one of the best pale ales, not just in Cape Town, in South Africa right now. So let's see what it's like with a toasted sandwich.
Sure, why not? You know, I've said it, I know this beer well, and thank you so many times over, Murray, for making it. 4.7% pale ale, crisp, clean, and nice and hoppy.
Oh, so hop forward, hey? Can you smell that?
Yeah, it's...
This beer was not around. Any beer like this was not around 3 years ago in Cape Town, in South Africa.
Close. I mean, you know, we're a lager drinking nation. We live in, you know, land of sunshine and everything. So, and why? Because lagers taste great when the weather's warm and it's beautiful. But as far as I'm concerned, this beer should, unless it's a crafty lager, all those other big beer lagers, this is the beer that should replace all of them in your beer fridge. Yeah. Hands down, all day long. 4.7%, not too heavy. You know, it's not the 6.5. You're not going to stumble around after 2 or 3 of them. It's great.
Okay, beautiful. So I'm gonna go reverse order. I'm gonna go back for the pesto sandwich.
Oh, that's yummy. I don't know. I think this beer might be a bit of a palate cleanser between these two, because these are two pretty hefty, chunky sandwiches.
And I'm expecting this one, because of its hop kick and this carbonation, to kind of, like you said, cleanse the palate, but also strip away anything that's coating the tongue.
You know, with the big hop kick. Oh wait, let me get that last bit of break down. Sorry. With the hop kick that you've got here, it's really going to play well with the pesto. And what you want with beers, this is a big enough beer in kind of like a pale, like a crisp, clean style. So like, you know, like what lager drinkers might be used to. And it stands up well because of the hops and the character and the depth of flavor to a relatively chunky sandwich with all sorts of seriously lekker ingredients on it. You know, you don't want, when you're pairing food and beer, you don't want to be, you know, there's a reason that lightweights don't get into the ring with heavyweights. For ass-kicking reasons. Yes. It's like, you don't do it. So it's the same with beer pairing. You know, and it's great that this beer has got enough depth and character and hops and aroma and everything to actually, stand up to that bribery, which is...
This is...
yummy.
It is yummy. This is, it's amplifying this hop, which is in a good way. So the sandwich has kind of toned down a lot of the malt character in the beer, but I am getting a much more danky note, which is delicious, which is what I'm looking for.
No, you'll find, you know, like with, you know, the oldest pairing, and it's one of the oldest contrasting pairings is stout and oysters. Yes. You know, and if you say it, you know, people look at you like you're off your rocker until you actually have it and the world starts to make sense again. You know, the bitterness of the beer cancels out the salty brininess of the oyster. Yeah. So those two kind of cancel each other out, you know, in your palate and your tongue with taste buds, and you end up tasting all the kind of rich, creamy, seafoody, meaty goodness of the oyster and all the roasty, coffee, chocolate backbone of the beer. It's delicious.
Salt and sweet.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Beersebouw for all your Beersebouw needs. If you'd like to improve your Beersebouw, then call us now. Contact British BM on Beersebouw. Call now.
Mom, there's no food in the house. Well, it sounds like you need to go down to Charlie's. Oh yeah, Charlie's. They have the greatest food. Oh boy, thanks, Mom. Charlie's, for all your food needs. Come on down to Charlie's corner of Abba and you can get all the steaks that you want and beer. Call now on Charlie's and come visit us on promptly. Charlie's.
I'm so sorry I had to put you through that. But just in case you're wondering, yep, we're looking for sponsors for the show. So if you know anyone who's keen and willing to put their brand in front of all the listeners and audience, well, get in touch and we'll make it happen. Now back to the show. Okay.
Close. We're back.
We're back. Let's go back onto. So we've just had the pesto sandwich. Let's have the this cheesy. I'm gonna ask again. What jam is it?
It's on this one,
not the jam. I keep saying jam, but it's
a preserved fig chutney.
Let me have a little.
Eating on air, who knew?
Yeah, swig it with some
There's
beer.
lots of grunts and moans. That's when you know it's good.
This almost has now an opposite effect where it's brought through the bitterness, but it hasn't amplified anything. So that's two things that I've noticed now with the sandwich, the one with the preserve, is that it's amplified the bitterness, not in a negative way, but it's just kind of pushed down the malt flavor. So obviously given the bitterness to shine. So if you like your bitterness, you obviously need something sweet on your sandwich. That's maybe a first observation, a first on Friday Beer Food. What are your thoughts on this one with this beer?
Well, for me, it's, you really want something to knock it out the park. It's a delicious sandwich, delicious beer. Do they work together? Sure, I'll eat it all day long.
Yeah.
Are they the best pairing that we've had from a pairing perspective? Maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah.
Maybe not. Some things work, some things don't. That's the reason we do it. And that's where all the fun is. And here's a segue for you.
Go for it.
Just finished our recipe book.
Yes.
About 15 minutes before this podcast is being recorded. It has officially gone to print.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 10 months. A not so slow clap. Golf clap. 10 months later that we've been working on it. Some awesome breweries that were involved.
And we can expect that in February, I hear.
1st of Feb.
Ooh.
1st of Feb. Just in time for Valentine's Day. Perfect present for guys and girls.
Yes.
100%. A little bit of some...
And are you getting me one? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it depends. Is it a media copy?
Well, the media.
It's got a little bit of everything in there. It's all the tricks and the tips and our favorite kind of recipes that we've done over the last, 2-3 years.
Cool. I'm excited for that. And I think, leading up to that, we're going to start planting it big time.
Yeah, we'll do a thing.
We'll do some big things.
We'll do many things.
Let's, time is flying. Let's go into
Okay, crack the last one.
our last one. This is going back to Aga. It's a Midnight Porter. A unique London brew. Let's read the back here. A classic full-bodied porter based on a recipe from 1836 found in a secret archive. A robust beer that is perfect for winter drinking. Flavors of plum, coffee, chocolates. Aromas of toasted bread, spicy. Bitterness, 31 out of 100 IBUs. So not as maybe intense with the bitterness compared to the red rye, but this does sit at 5%, so slightly more.
I did hear chocolate and toasted bread, and right now I'll tell you why that's a good thing, because we do have a third sandwich happening at Aga. Got it? There we go. Third sandwich happening at Aga, which is our kind of party trick, ace in the deck. It's dessert brybrookie. Troy's just busy lapping up some beer that's on the table.
Can't waste the beer.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Rewind.
3
brybrookies.
3.
And I'm expecting a sweet one.
So you've got, a dessert brybrookie.
Word.
I think to date we probably some of, if not the only guys that are doing it. It started out as like a...
there's some Tanya in the Free State who's done one.
Who's that? Of course, yes. A cook.
And she's going to get a phone call.
A cook sister,
You're gonna get a phone
deep
call.
fried batter. That's a great idea, actually. Anyway, when we auditioned for Ultimate Brewmaster, it was one of the things that cracked us the nod to finally get on the show.
Yeah.
Which was a dark chocolate and banana brybrookie on oat and honey farm bread with maple syrup whipped cream. So it's
that the 2% cream? Because you have to. You have to watch yourself these days.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's the diet whipped cream with the diet dark chocolate and the gluten-free bread and everything. So it'll be fine. It's basically a salad.
You know what I sometimes find is that it's not always the dark stouts or porters that you pair with your desserts. I often find when I go to restaurants or places that are fortunate enough to have these kind of pairings, they put their stouts with the dessert, and I feel that it kind of strips away from the dessert and strips away from the beer.
Sure.
Whereas your porter it should go, like you said, it's chocolatey. It should go with something salty or sour maybe.
Well, I mean, funny that you say that. We've got one of the other collab beers that we do, the Moor Coffee Stout with Fraser's Folly. We've always, because it's the easiest, the 1+1, to pair it with a dessert. And it's fantastic. We do it with Cook System.
I think yours is different though.
Peanut butter, whipped cream, and all sorts of stuff.
Yours is not just a normal stout.
No, but I'll tell you what I've always wanted to pair it with, and I haven't had the chance yet, is black pudding for breakfast.
Yes.
Black pudding and bacon.
Black pudding.
With some condensed milk,
some cheddar cheese,
coffee stout, exactly what you're talking about. To have the sweet coffee, malty goodness happening with the salty umami flavor of something like caramelized bacon or black pudding or something.
Preach, brother.
Preach. Say amen. So
let's cut into this beer. There are not enough porters in the country. I'm so stoked Rory's got one. Have a quick sip.
This is one of my favorite beers. Really is.
Lots of coffee.
Piles of chocolate in the follow through.
5%. It's not heavy, I don't think. It's still very light for our climate, which I think it has to be. Let's tuck into a sandwich. I'm gonna go for the sweet one, the one that amplifies the bitterness.
Right, so you go ahead with the sandwich. I'm with a porter. This would probably go well with that rare steak sandwich as well. But I think it's going to be next level, and it's going to be brewery fresh with the dessert bribery. I think Rory a little while ago made a marshmallow stout, which was vanilla, chocolate, just goodness on so many different levels. That would also be a really lekker beer with that little toasty.
I'm getting a caramel sweetness or like a toffee sweetness which is coming through. So I'm trying to think how the preserve is kind of, it's obviously complementing the...
You get involved too.
Yeah,
I feel like you're on this journey alone. Wait.
And now that I drink it, I'm picking up a lot more sweetness on the tongue, which I didn't expect. And that's actually kind of thrown me now.
I think what'll end up happening with something like this, when you got a dark beer, it'll really play nicely with the toasted bread and the burnt edges and the char and all of that. So once that cancels or balances each other out, you're kind of dealing with what you're left with, and the sweetness is quite prominent. That and the little crispy, crunchy onions.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going in for another round.
Nice. So that's pretty much where we're looking. As far as the weekend goes, it's one of our favorite breweries with some of our favorite people.
I'll be there as well.
You'll be there as well. Yeah.
We still have one more sandwich. We still have the hemp seed, which we need a kind of
hemp seed
pesto.
Hemp seed coriander pesto. Thanks, Jules.
If you listen to this now and you haven't eaten, I'm so sorry, but
no. That's when when you take the bite and everyone just keeps quiet for a while. So that's one of the things we talk about in the book as well, is the ceremony of the braai and everything. A braai is not just a braai. It's not just a way to cook food. It's not just a heat source. It's an ingredient, and it's everything else that goes around with it. It's the friends, it's the family, it's the laughter, it's the tunes, it's the beer, it's the kaya, it's the whole story.
What are you picking up with this one?
Let me just
let's get your professional opinion here. How's it changed since having the pesto with the ham and the cheese?
Well, I find that there is a...
Quite smooth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The pesto is kind of evened out what was quite a punchy, lively kind of top note in the beer that you get in like the first sip.
Yeah.
And I think the back end of the beer for me is all about dark chocolate. It literally is like It's all chocolate in the finish.
Smoother
chocolate.
I think it's made it almost a little bit more sessionable. It just goes on a lot easier. Not that it wasn't easy. But it just and this is almost it's taken away a little bit of the hoppy bitterness. Whatever there was, at 31 IBUs, it wasn't much, but it's maybe just given a bit of a character to the chocolate notes, which
it's delicious. So I mean, it's like we've had 2 Eiger beers, one of Murray's beers from Metal Lane. This has felt like a good warm up. I cannot wait for the weekend.
So before I finish,
before you finish that mouthful,
before we wrap up here. Let's not that we want to pick a winner, but I want to see which one was kind of our favorite. I'm going to say straight away that the pesto with the ham and the cheese paired was my favorite beer was the Metal Lane Pale Ale. I think it just made everything in that beer shine. It's just that the hoppy notes came through. I was picking it up. I'm very sad that I've finished the beer.
I think I think I can't disagree with you there. I think the Metal Lane with the pesto was delicious. I think the meat on the sandwich is kind of heavy for it. I think we could probably do kind of a lighter, punchier, funkier version of that Brybrookie and really knock the beer out of the park. And the sandwich for me, I think maybe the red rye with the first sandwich, the classic. The next level classic, that was yummy. Like the spicy, earthy notes from the rye and the caramel malts in the beer and everything were just with the cheese and the tomato and the chutney. It's yummy.
I'm torn between the 2 Eiger beers, but I do think that the one thing I did notice was that the porter is more all encompassing. It can pair itself to a lot more.
Yeah, bigger beer.
And you can. It didn't not go with anything.
Lots going on.
I think the red rye. I didn't enjoy it when the malt was subdued and the bitterness was amplified by I think it was the preserve sandwich, the sweeter one. But I think the porter is a little bit more. It lends itself to the different taste buds.
Well, I tell you what. If you are listening to this. You are listening to this and
literally hundreds of thousands.
If you are one of the millions of people listening to this podcast, if any of this sounds remotely good to you, and it really should, get to Eiger this weekend.
And if you can't get to Eiger, there's a little cookbook that's coming out in a few weeks' time. So
a few months' time.
So there's stuff for people to look forward to. Mr. Greg.
Mr. Troy.
How was that for a Friday Beer Food episode? Do you think this has got legs?
Yeah, I think it's got big legs.
And
I'd be upset if we weren't the ones to bry for you a couple more times.
Well, we need to get some A-list celebrities.
Yeah. People that actually have people. Anyway.
No. We need like the Nathaniels of this world to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Hey,
cool.
I don't think you're on that
level.
I
mean, I'm bald, but I mean, that's pretty much about the only thing. I think Sazelle would probably be good.
Yes,
I
get that.
Toasted Brybrookie and a porter.
Someone like
there's it.
White on rice. He's into his chocolate now.
Yeah.
I think we've definitely got our selection in terms of who we can invite. Greg, thank you very much for making these delicious sandwiches. I'm looking forward to having more on Saturday.
No, thanks for being the excuse.
And to everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed this new experimental episode. Let me know what you think. Thank you, Greg.
Lekker.
Ciao. If you're listening to this, it means you've reached the end of the show, which means you listened to the entire show. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you think about this new concept with Friday Beer Food. Hit me up on social media. You know where to find me. #BeerTime. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. Cheers.